Hey, what's up guys, Michael here with WarpDriveM. Welcome to a new episode. Before I start this episode, I want to thank you all that helped me from the last step. You know who you are, I don't have to say every name. I'm gonna put a link in the description below for a Facebook group that are doing something like this, what I'm doing, but at a professional level, and you can ask every question there. So yeah, check the link into the description below, and yeah, let's start the video. So in today's episode we are gonna fit the turbo in the right position. We are going to try to fit the oil line, and we'll see how far I can go on this episode. And finally we have some nice weather. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's do this. Now I've loosened up the bolts, this side and the other one, and as you can see I can turn the turbo, the hot part and the cold part. I can turn it and put it in the position that it's gonna work for me. I have the feeding line for the oil. I'm gonna try to install it underneath just to see where is the best position, and after that I'm gonna do some marks, and after that I'm gonna tighten all the bolts, and it's gonna be like this. I've managed to turn the turbo with the feeding line up and the drain line is down there now. So it's gonna be like this on the car. Everything is set, but I have another problem. The support for the wastegate, it is a little bit too big. I've marked this side, I have to cut it, and before I cut this I've drawn the standard plate, and if something goes wrong I can cut another one. Now fits without this piece from the bracket. It fits perfectly, but now these vacuum lines are hitting the engine, are directly into the engine, so I have to rotate this with the pipes in here. I hope it's gonna fit in these two holes, otherwise I have to drill another. Make a mark where the pipes are, so like in here. Okay, and now I'm gonna take this out, and I'm gonna rotate this till the pipes are in the new position, so something like this. now the moment of truth. I've drilled bigger holes because I have some play, so I can adjust a little bit. So let's see if it works. Ta-da! And it works. Yep. So this is the position on the car, and now the pipes are pointing towards the free space, not the engine anymore. Finally, turbo installed. Yeah, I'm gonna go underneath and I'm gonna show you how tight it is, but everything works. The bolts on the turbo fits perfectly. It's not everything tight, but just a test fit, and look at that. Let me put my hand. It is so tight in here. It's gonna be some space because like I said, the bolts are not completely tightened up, but check this out. It's like paper thin. Anyway, it's a fit. I repositioned the west gate. As you can see, before the pipes were hitting the block, the engine block, and now we have a new position for that. Now the intercooler exit is not in the frame anymore. We have, let me try to show you from the other side. So now we have the feeding line on top position. We have the return line for the oil underneath, and everything is in place. For the oil part, this is our oil line for the turbo. I removed the steering wheel, power steering wheel oil. Whoa, it's leaking. Okay, and this is the oil filter housing. You can basically you can take oil from here, but there is no place for an adapter here. And I'm gonna take oil from this sensor. This is an oil pressure sensor or something like that. You have to remove the wires. This wire first. After that, you just have to take out the connector. Let me try to show you. This is the connector. Okay. And now I'm going to unscrew this bolt, this sensor. This is the sensor that I removed from the oil filter housing. And I found this one, this adapter, that as you can see, it's gonna fit in here perfectly. Yep. And this side has the same thread. I'm gonna use a washer. You have to use always washers for this kind of adapters. And every side of this adapter has multiple ways to connect the oil line. Yeah, and you can use this for air lines as well. But now I have to check if this is gonna fit in here. If this is gonna fit in here, problem solved. I just have to test fit it on the car in here to see if it's not too big. But I think it's not too big. It's not that big of a piece, and I have a lot of room in there. So let's remove one of these and test fit if the oil line fits here. If this fits, problem solved. put everything together to start the car and to test if the oil is flowing. Now I'm gonna check for leaks. I don't see any leak for now. Okay, and you can see the oil line is full with oil, and check this out. The oil line was in here pointing downwards. I started the car and the oil started flowing, so everything is working. Now the oil lines are working. I have to make just a return line, but yeah, I have to repair this. I'm gonna do that later, but now we can permanently install the turbo. We are going to fit the oil line, and for the return line I'm gonna put a bucket or something like that, just to test if everything works. So let's do that. Now before I install the turbo again, I will use this gasket. I have another one, but I'm gonna go with this one. And these are the bolts and washers for the nuts and washers for the bolts for the turbo. We have to do something about the return line from the oil. I have to drill a hole in the oil pan, but let's see how it goes. The oil line is already bolted in there. I have to make the pipes for the intercooler, but before that I need to drill the oil pan. To install this fitting, I'm gonna need a nut in here and the two washers, copper washers for each side. And as you can see in here, that's the return line for the oil pan, and that is gonna fit in here, and the other side is gonna go inside the oil pan. And yeah, I didn't use anymore this adapter for the oil lines. So yeah, that's about it for today's episode. I've managed to install the oil lines. I've fitted the turbo almost permanently. I have to drill the oil pan to make the return line for the turbo, and after that I think we just have to remove the bumper and install the intercooler, and we can start the car. So yeah, join me on the next episode. Until next time, see you later.